Hey Reaper, you seen my girlfriend anywhere?
Shh! I'm checking in on... Wait a second. You have a girlfriend?
Yeah, she's supposed to be here. Have you seen her?
No.
Okay, well, what are you doing?
That duck lady is freaking me out, okay?
Oh, I don't know, she seems alright to me. I mean, she just keeps stabbing goose toys, but that's really about it.
But Blue, she has a gun!
You have a gun.
No, I don't.
Well, what's that then?
What's what then?
Where is it?
Where's what?
The gun.
This gun?
Yes, that gun.
I don't have a gun.
What?
I'm gonna go give that duck lady a piece of my mind.
Yeah, whatever. Reaper? Are you alright, buddy? Please tell me you didn't... Oh, Jesus!
Glorious Lux.
So... I got a couple of old videos. I've been doing videos for a long time now, and this show in particular has been on again, off again, long hiatuses in between reviews, but in the past couple of years, I think it's important to look back at some of my more infamous reviews and see if my opinion has changed on the various games I covered. You know, to really close out the year and usher in a new era, not just for this show, but for this channel as a whole. Now, much like any show has been running for a long time, it's had its various critiques. So I'd like to address a couple of points about some of my past episodes. And I think the best place to start would be my overall least favorite episode of this show. Street Fighter 1, cringy boxing intro and all. Now, I'm by no means a pro at it, but I at least know how to throw a proper, hook, cross, jab, or, boxing terminology. But, geez, I don't know what I was thinking with that intro. Oh, you want to roast me? Okay, here, I'll give you one. A fun fact, on that very last jab I did on that bag, I legitimately jammed my hand. Bang! It just hurts looking at. For 3 days. Now, I don't think it's the worst video I've ever done in my entire life. That still goes to the habanero comic book reading video. But I'm still not happy with this episode because I was trying to get a feel for the new comedic style I was wanting to try out, being very JonTron inspired. And I played around with it a little bit for Justice League Task Force, but I don't think I truly got my style down until future episodes. And for the record, no, before you ask, Justice League Task Force is not going to be featured in this particular video. I think everyone's in pretty much universal agreement that that game eats. So, as awkward as my humor is in that video, it's ignored. But after replaying Street Fighter 1, knowing some of the various critiques that I received from it, how this game was a milestone at the time, how it helped people usher in the first age of fighting games, about how the game is not truly all that bad, and have to look at it with those kind of eyes that 80s kids would have had in the arcades back in the day. Is the game actually good? Nope. Look, you can put Street Fighter 1 in your 2-part Killer Clown movies all you like. It ain't gonna make it a good game. Street Fighter 1 is just bad. Special moves that only work when they want to, broken AI that's either impossible or too stupid to fight back, only 2 playable characters that are completely identical, and that voiceover. I didn't realize that Street Fighter 1 took place in the Peanuts universe, but hey, hindsight's 20/20. But I still wonder, if it sounded that bad, and there's no way it was even remotely audible when they were programming it, why didn't they just leave it out? Look, I'm not gonna be all up in your face if you like this game, okay? I know it's a trendsetter, and people's attitudes toward the game back in the day are more so nostalgic purposes. But what bugs me is that people consider it to be the game that popularized the fighting game genre because it was the first of its kind. Well, no. Sorry guys, but you're just kinda wrong with this one. Street Fighter 1 is more like an improved version of Karate Champ, which to my understanding is the first martial arts-based fighting game. It's 1v1, multiple stages, and the main characters wear white and red gis respectively. Gorsh, where have I heard that before? And you wonder why I wasn't so hard on Art of Fighting for doing it? Maybe it's because I wasn't born until 3 years later, but guys, come on. Just be honest with yourself. There's a reason why nobody plays Street Fighter 1 at room parties during conventions, or why nobody tries to start up a Street Fighter 1 tournament at EVO every year, because you just can't. I mean, it's not like it's impossible. Someone actually recoded the entire game with the Mugen engine just to have a character select screen and make everyone in the game playable other than Ryu and Ken. Guys, I think we need to be honest with ourselves here, okay? You know, erase the nostalgia you have for this game, okay? Erase the fact that it appeared in It Chapter 1 and 2. And just kind of attach another name to it, you know? Remove Street Fighter from it. Call it Karate Master, or even, let's say the official title was Fighting Street, and the characters were named Go and Hibiki or something like that. Yeah, I'm clever with this stuff. I know what I'm doing. I think we all would have blasted this game for exactly what it is had we done that. Street Fighter 1 is just a badly programmed, obnoxious fighting game that barely works. It does things that are fighting game blasphemy by today's standards. Look, about the only reason to play Street Fighter 1 nowadays is just so you can see how far fighting games have truly come. But if you absolutely must play it, then play the Mugen version online somehow, or just play the Street Fighter 1 mode in Street Fighter 5. As flawed as that game is, if I input a Hadouken command, I shoot a fireball, okay? Consistently. Now the next game I want to talk about is Nightmare Creatures, which people think is still a really good game even today. Heck, I've heard talk of an HD remaster or reboot somewhere down the road, so we'll see. Now the last time I heard that was in 2017, and I think it's kind of gone silent ever since then, so who knows if an HD remaster or reboot will actually come out. But you know, if Shaq Fu can have a sequel, I don't see why Nightmare Creatures can't. No, I haven't played it. Yes, it's on my list. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that this is the worst game I've ever played, because it's not. In fact, when I played this game back in the day, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It had zombies, giant monsters, vampires, and you had to run around beating the crap out of things. What's not to love? Now, that's not to say the game isn't flawed and even critically flawed. In fact, I still maintain that the N64 version, as buggy as it may be, is the superior version of the game because you do have the option of turning off that stupid adrenaline bar. I don't care who you are, I should not be forced to fight things that could kill me so I don't die. What sense does that make? Especially since this game classifies itself as a survival horror game. I mean, you die by not fighting the monsters? You're not supposed to fight a lot of the monsters in some cases. You're supposed to run away, conserve, not be murdered. Also, having a final boss that's completely invulnerable and invincible to all of your attacks unless you're using ridiculously long combo strings against him. No, sorry. Don't care for it. Now that being said, I have softened my opinion of it. Even though I don't think it was the worst game ever played back in the day, it's gotten a lot better with age. I mean, graphics aside, I think it's still really atmospheric, it has a cool plot, and it's a great idea for a game. So, upon reflection, whenever I initially reviewed it, I was essentially revisiting it When the first time I played it, I was about 5 or 6. I was hoping it would still be as cool and as good as it was when I was a wee little kid. Well, as we can all attest, some things are better in your memories than they are in reality. And I think that's probably what made me dislike the game so much, because it wasn't as good as I remembered, and I thought, hey, this is bullshit. This game sucks. I'm going to roast it and tear it a new one. But nowadays, after replaying it, I don't hate it, but it's not something I'm going to want to go back to anytime soon. Now, if you want a more positive note, I still dig Nightmare Creatures 2. Yeah, no 5 or 6-year-old me ever played this game. I just played it fresh when I first found it back in the day, after not liking the first one. And yeah, this game is great. You know, screw what the critics said about this game back in the day. It's an improvement in every way over the original. No adrenaline bar, better controls, fatality moves. It's just overall superior. Now, it's not a perfect game by any means. I'm not saying it is. But you know what? It doesn't have to be a dry-aged filet mignon steak to still be good. Sometimes a New York strip is just as good. So this is the last thing I'm gonna say about Nightmare Creatures before we move on. If there ever is another Nightmare Creatures game, yeah, I'll be there. I'll check it out. Kinda hope it does make a comeback. Like, seriously, if they're gonna do it, do it. All right, that's it. Okay, so I wanna talk about one more game before we totally cut this off, and I'll see you guys next year. Is it gonna be Shaq Fu, since I briefly touched upon it earlier? No, that game, although not as bad as everyone makes it out to be, it's still pretty awful. It's not a very good fighting game, although I will say this without a shadow of a doubt, it's still better than Street Fighter 1. How about the first Mortal Kombat game? I did cover that right after Street Fighter 1, right? Well, I plan on doing a whole series about Mortal Kombat sometime next year, so that'll get revisited eventually, so just not today. Well, honestly, there's only one other game that I'd like to talk about, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's the game that, to this day, I get the most crap for giving a bad review to. Either it's the content of the video itself being more comedic in nature, or the quality of my critiques that made people upset about it. And that game is none other than Deathtrap Dungeon. Okay, so after replaying Deathtrap Dungeon this time around, did my opinion change? It is my most controversial episode of Magus Reviews to date, and I have received a fair amount of critique for it and even some valid points in the comments. So, what do I think now? Is Deathtrap Dungeon a genuinely good game? Nope! Nope. Not at all. Nope. With a capital N. For Nick. I was gonna say Nickelodeon. What did you think I was gonna say? I, to this day, still don't understand why I get so much shit for this game review. I'm not the only guy to say this game sucks, but I'm actually not even the first guy to say this game sucks. I mean, GameSpot reviewed it back in 1998 and gave it a 3.7 out of 10, and I was 7 years old when they wrote that, so there's no way that I'm the only one who played this game who said it's bad. I mean, really though? Really? Like, this is one of the most controversial moments in my entire YouTube career. Taking a dump all over a bad PS1 game because some people say it's really good, when in reality, it's not. Okay, look, this isn't just differing of opinions here, that's fine, but this isn't Tomb Raider we're talking about either. This is Deathtrap Dungeon. It's not some herald of great game design, it's a mess. It's a buggy, bad dungeon crawler slash platformer with clunky controls, muddy and dark graphics, and an awful combat system that makes you hold down a single button and you do a long string of attacks. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't holding down one button to attack the same reason people hate the combat in Hide Glide? And this game came out in 1998, okay? The same year that Medieval came out, alright? Medieval did what Deathtrap Dungeon wanted to do was so much better. Just play that game instead, or heck, go play Nightmare Creatures, you know? Nightmare Creatures came out in 1997, a year prior to this, and guess what? Its combat blows this game out of the water. Oh, not to mention the fact that the AI is rock stupid, or do I need to remind you that these orcs completely get stuck walking a straight line? Okay, so you know how I softened my opinion on Nightmare Creatures, okay? Well, for Deathtrap Dungeon, my opinion actually got worse for it. So I was trying to replay all of these games with a more open mind and the critiques in mind to see, you know, what I'm missing, you know? Trying to find some level of common ground with the people who said that these are just not good reviews. So, I booted the game up and decided to ignore Chain Dog, who still, I'd like to add, has a stupid name. And I instead decided to pick Red Lotus the Amazon. And when I selected her, this is what happened. There's nothing wrong with your speakers. The sound has been completely cut out for some reason. And I'm playing as Chain Dog, even though I didn't select him. Also, his sword is missing. But he can headbutt. I thought maybe the game had bugged out or something like that, or I'd encountered something that was completely uncommon. I mean, I'm happy that I got it on recording, so I could just, you know, tell you about the glitchy part of it, but, you know, whatever. So I ran through the first part of the level to go to the second level to see if the bug would fix itself. And nope, still no sound, still playing as Chain Dog, no sword, tossing out headbutts. I mean, at least he's got a cranium that can kill orcs. Well, I mean, that's kind of funny, I suppose. I mean, a swordless barbarian who is also deaf and mute running around headbutting orcs to death. I mean, that's kind of funny for you know, a visual gag, I guess. Okay, but you know, glitches happen all the time in old games. Let me just restart the whole thing and that'll fix it. Reloaded the game, selected Red Lotus, and nope, still no sound, and still headbutting Chain Dog. So I pulled the disc out and restarted the console, cleaned the disc, put it back in, and then this time selected Chain Dog directly, and still headbutting, no sword, no sound. I am not making this up. Oh, and before some of the more vociferous fans decide to come over here and continue defending this holy game, let me just do this for you then, okay? To prove that I am in fact not doctoring this footage, I live streamed it. Here's the footage of me trying to get it to work. Just to prove that I am not doctoring any footage whatsoever, I'm deciding to do this little stream. So, here's a glitch I encountered. Whenever you select a new game, and whenever you pick your character, either Chain Derp or Red Lotus, what's gonna happen? I will show you.
Red Lotus.
Clearly selected the Amazon. Clearly selected the Amazon. Now observe this heinousness. I don't know if it's just the PS3 doing this, but this needs to be documented proof to show that I'm not making this up. I don't need to look for the thing to make fun of this game over. I'm doing this live so you guys can see that I'm not bullshitting. Now, the sound completely cuts out. And even though I selected Red Lotus, clearly that is Chain Dog. Unless Red Lotus got really manly and decided to do a crap ton of squats. I tried to throw a Chain Dog a bone, and he still bit my hand. Look, if you like this game, or any game on this list, I'm not trying to be a dick to you. You're free to like whatever you want to like, okay? But cut me some slack here. I gave this game 2 chances. 1 chance in my initial review, and another chance after I receive some feedback on it. I can't stand this game. And it's not just a matter of, oh, there are other better hack and slash games, because it doesn't have to be, you know, superior to other games. It'll still be a good game by itself, you know, even if it was just, you know, the worst of a bunch of good games, it's still a good game, right? But no, this is just not a good game, just on the grounds because at least you can play the other games. This game literally refuses to let me play it. Are there worse games than Deathtrap Dungeon? Well, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be an improvement if Bubsy 3D's audio cut out for some reason, but let's just face the facts here. Deathtrap Dungeon just isn't good. Look, if you have nostalgia attached to it, that's fine. We've all got that one bad thing from the past that we all really liked at the time because we were kids, but we admit it's not very good by modern standards. And that's what I'm applying to it, because I didn't grow up with this game. And now that I'm trying to revisit it, I can't, because it's unplayable. But even when this game did work for me when I first reviewed it, this is the same copy of the game, by the way, it's still a slow and sluggish game with messy controls, combos where you can hold down a single button to do, dark muddy graphics, odd camera controls, and it's just an overall mess. Look, if you absolutely must roast me for something, okay, if I have to give up something to make you understand that my negative review of Deathtrap Dungeon is not the end of the world, okay, I'll give you some free ammunition. I like Duke Nukem Forever. I like it so much I bought it 3 times. I'm not even kidding. I love that game, okay? But at the end of the day, it was just a comedic review of, be honest, a bad PlayStation 1 game, okay? I need to bite my head off.
Hey, speaking of head, remember me?
Oh god!
You think you can just run?
What? No. Say, were you in Super Hell?
I am a demon. You think I can't make a deal with the devil?
That's a fair point, but, I have a trump card. Reaper, shoot him! Oh yeah. I'm boned.
Now you are going to die. Wait, was that a pun?
Would you believe me if I told you it was accidental?
No.
Crap.
Now, prepare for eternal damnation.
Glorious Rex.
I don't know what you just said, but thanks. I'll see you guys next year. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this little look back video. I have some big things coming up in 2020, so if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media, or go that extra mile and support me on Patreon. You're gonna want to see what happens next. I hope. Maybe.